make some predictions, and I don't want anyone to basically. This is just entertainment purposes. This is nothing like you can take to the bank necessarily. It's not something that is financial advice or any type of investment advice or anything like that. It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion. So predictions of 2025. Okay, some things are already done. It's already in play. I mean, obviously, Trump is in office, and it's a big shakeup, a government shakeup. You know, it's a lot of things that I'm hearing as far as different reports as far as what the government has been spending money on in previous administrations and so on. It's a lot of like goofy stuff like funding uh, children to have sex reassignment surgery and shit like that. A lot of stuff, man. I remember working for Chicago Public Schools, and the amount of like stuff that they waste money on was just like unbelievable. And that was just a school system in Chicago. But yeah, I mean it's basically already a shakeup, like I'm saying. So here we go. I'm gonna get right into it. I'm not gonna small talk much. So first off, as far as like, okay, conflicts that might be happening that's already going on. We already know uh, Ukraine and Russia still, you know, happening as far as what we already know that that's obvious. Uh, will something let up or as far as peace talks? I think possibly it could be some peace talks. It could be some type of truce, talk of some type of truce or something like that. I believe that that's possible. Um, that is possible. Uh, South of the border, down like in Mexico, in South America, um, as far as even travels, like right, people that are quote unquote passport bros, they tend to travel to places like Mexico, even further in South America. That's like a tourist kind of hotspot, right? Going to to Mexico. People go to Mexico actually every day to go from California to Mexico, go to Arizona to Mexico. It's a border country, like people travel to and from Mexico every day. Like millions of people travel throughout Mexico. Now, from what I'm hearing, as far as the executive orders, they've Trump basically declared the border of the Mexico U.S. border as a state of emergency, which, given that status of state of emergency, does some things as far as it makes the National Guard on alert as far as bringing them in to actually assist because it's a state of an emergency. Also, other military units down to the border to help out with that quote unquote state of emergency. I'm not all over the place with the news, so I don't necessarily know. I'm hearing that the cartels already been fighting the police. They've been assassinating journalists. It's like one of the most deadliest place. Mexico is one of the most deadliest places for journalists to actually, basically exist. Because basically, if you talk anything unfavorable about them, they will off you. If you're a journalist, they don't want certain things to be reported. So basically, what you have, um, that's kind of similar to Marxism or communism. That's one of the elements of a dictatorship, a certain type of government, authoritarian government, where you can't really report what's actually going on. You have no right to report exactly what's going on. I mean, you got to understand, like, it's, I don't know to extent of how many Canadians are trying to cross the border or historically cross the border to the United States, but it's not a thing where it's a major thing, like, because Canada pretty much has a very similar government system, but a little bit different than the United States. And there, Canada is very competitive economically, um, just as the United States is. I mean, Canada is like, pretty much a cousin to the United States as far as their economy. They're basically under, I think parts of Canada is under British rule or British sovereignty. They were beholden to basically the Queen of England, now basically King Charles. So basically they don't really have a need for, Canadians are not trying to cross the border like that because it's stability. It's pretty safe, right? In Canada, probably even safer than the United States in some regards. I just, you know, as far as what I hear and everything like that, I mean, it's pretty safe. It's not like Mexico where you have a lot of economic instability. The farmer class, the people that cross the border, primarily the people that cross the border from Mexico are the farmer class. Okay, the people that are, basically, kind of like peasants. They don't really have that much going for them. And Mexico itself is called a narco state. It's a narco state. Basically the country of Mexico itself is basically a drug fueled economy. It's an economy that it does have certain elements in it that, as far as like, they produce a lot of, like, for example, they have Ford plants in Mexico, and they produce certain components or certain cars and stuff like that in Mexico. They have different food distribution centers in Mexico. A lot of partnership as far as with American production, taking advantage of, inexpensive labor in Mexico. A lot of companies use Mexico for, to basically make, for manufacturing. Okay. But Mexico is not Canada. Okay. Mexico does not have a robust competitive economy. It does not have a balanced government. Okay. It doesn't have a lot of things going on. And and then you add a tropical desert region that's very easy to grow crops, and the actual drug lust of America, with the cocaine. They even have something that is kind of new, I guess, is pink cocaine. So America, its drug lust, it is fueled, Mexico to produce what, not only America wants, but Europe has a drug lust. A lot of different parts of the world, they have a drug lust. They lust for drugs, right? Um, so Mexico being a border state, it actually anywhere in South America, Central America, they use Mexico as a border entry point to bring these drugs through, and America is the one that wants the drugs. They have, you know, a drug lust that's fueled, you know, by the citizens of America, you know, poor to rich, this drug culture of, you know, basically drug use. So that makes a lot of Mexicans, a lot of, you know, people from South America, Central America, very, very rich. I'm not going to run down the history of that. You already know the history. Okay. And, you know, basically the drug economy in the United States is underground over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion. The underground drug market in America is over $1 trillion. That means basically it's a lot of people in America that make money off of the underground economy of actual narcotics, drugs, street, you know, basically pharmaceuticals, if you want to call it. They make money off of that. Okay. They have, you know, all kinds of elaborate syndicates and, you know, legitimate business mixed with underground business and all kinds of stuff, you know, that is basically, uh, you know, people are involved with, from the street seller on the streets, you know, running drugs. You know, you even got kids selling drugs. One of the things about the west side of Chicago that is just, it's just mind blowing. Like when I think about the west side of Chicago, I can just get lost in thought because I've seen some things on the west side of Chicago that I've just never seen before anywhere else. I mean, like I remember I was doing it was kind of like some like community service, like, you know, traffic ticket stuff, or, you know, whatever. You got a charge, and then you know, your basically attorney works out some agreement to just do community service instead of, you know, some type of jail time or whatever the case may be. And I did some community service, and it was like with the sheriffs of Cook County. And one of the stops that we made was in the West Side. Why did we stop at the West Side? I don't know. It was just for a brief period of time. But one of the things that I saw that I'll never forget was kids young as 5 and I would say 6 or 7 years old running drugs in the open air drug market. You know, people coming in like, you know, people trying to get a Happy Meal at McDonald's, trying to get you know, they heroin or whatever, crack, whatever they wanted. You know what I'm saying? And the sheriffs didn't even stop it. The police was driving by, and that's when I, you know, it just basically also seeing that, it was like, okay, I had to understand. It's kind of like when I was talking to, I had conversations, I've had conversations with officers, police officers, and you know, police officers on it, you know, on YouTube, like Charles Faulkner, Officer Charles Faulkner. One of the things about being a policeman and just dealing with, you know, things as far as laws and stuff like that is that basically it's certain things that just happen, and then the basically the government allows it to happen. And you know, it's certain places that they allow it to happen. And that's why I always tell people, just move out the hood. You know, if you trying to like invest in real estate and stuff like that, okay, cool, but don't be trying to live in no damn hood like that. You know, if you know that people are getting away with murders, they're getting away, they letting people sell drugs, and the police are just letting it happen. They're allowing people to just basically kind of live like savages, and the police they can't really do nothing, and they don't do anything, just get out of that environment. Because basically what I'm saying, as someone that's ex-military himself, that that is a that is a controlled environment where basically it's a control. I call it controlled chaos theory. It's like it's basically they're allowing this chaos to basically keep going, and that's what I saw. And I already knew. This was what year was this? This was about 2010, something like that. And I already knew about controlled chaos. I probably didn't have a term for it. I might have had it back then, but I knew about this. I knew about how they allow certain crimes to continue on. Other neighborhoods, they don't allow no crime. I mean, to a certain extent, I will say this. It's certain things about, as far as the people that live in a particular community, what they are willing to allow and what they're not willing to allow as well, that plays a role in that. And unfortunately, for a lot of black people in the hoods and ghettos and stuff like that, and parts of inner cities, it's a bunch of people minding their business. And that's not so much good when it comes to your children getting involved in stuff, and then having to see stuff and endure stuff, because you got a whole bunch of people minding their fucking business. Well, when you go to the north side of Chicago, where it's white people, and other neighborhoods where it's white people and shit like that, they don't just be minding their fucking business. They be calling the police. They be, telling people, what are you doing here? Why are you sitting on the corner? Can I help you? Are you lost? Are you looking for something? Like, when you're paying money to live somewhere, when you got taxes, taxes is a big thing. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something about being a real estate investor. Taxes is a fucking big ass deal. Even if you own your home, you know what? You know who could take your house? The only people, the bank can't take your house, because there ain't no bank. You own your house, you pay cash, right? It ain't no rent, so no landlord kicking you out. But the people that can kick you out your house is the fucking county, that if you don't pay them fucking taxes. And the thing is one of the things about being a taxpayer is, it really is a fucking big deal to be a taxpayer. Okay. And being a taxpayer means, all right, I'm paying a lot of money for these goddamn taxes, and when I call the police, they better fucking come. And if you're on this block, or what are you doing, around my property, or who are you, and all of that type of shit. That is the duty of someone that lives in a neighborhood or a community. And a lot of these places, they allow this shit to happen, and then the police allow it to happen, and then everybody else allows it to happen. So it is a element of the whole I'm just mind my own business type of motherfucking mentality, that allows this stuff to continue and fester. It is a lot of higher thought, as far as the black community is, that a lot of these ghettos are just basically single mother strongholds, and a bunch of simp men with, basically, that are basically cowards, that are left in these certain neighborhoods, and then they don't fight, because the men in the neighborhood are supposed to stand together, on some, like, if you ever saw, I know the young people probably have not saw the show Rock, where he stood up against a drug dealer and shit like that in the neighborhood. They was going back and forth. It was the dude that played Pinky on Friday, and that's kind of how that goes. One of the things I'll say about, even people I know personally, you can call him all kind of names, but you can't call him no coward, because he stood up against his, the bad elements of his neighborhood. He worked with the, the congressmen, his congressmen and stuff like that, because it was like a project, uh, kind of like center that was like down the street from his house, and basically this guy basically shut down this project building. He with a group of people in the neighborhood got this project shut down because it was basically fueling a lot of murders, a lot of you know just negative things within the community, and one of those was, yes, murders, bodies, and a bunch of drug sales and all kinds of other stuff. And the thing is that, yeah, community involvement does play a role in that, but basically, seeing that what I saw like in 2010, it just reaffirmed that whole control chaos theory. It basically, I saw it live and well. And the thing is that, what going back to my predictions, is that I think possibly there, because see, here's the thing. I was alive when, basically the US military actually engaged inside Mexico. That was in my lifetime. That happened in the 80s and also 90s. It was periods of the 80s and the 90s where there were actual military operations inside Mexico. Okay, Mexico, the government of Mexico does not allow that type of engagement. They disdain that engagement because the Mexican government are basically saying, we can handle this, we can deal with everything, and they do get certain intel and certain help from the U.S. government, but they try to handle everything themselves. Well, my predictions is, and I could be wrong. I'll say this. I hope I'm wrong, on the negative stuff. Okay, I hope I'm wrong as far as anything that is engaging in violence or anything like that. But in my prediction, it probably already is, because a lot of times news reports come in late. I believe there will be inside engagement, military engagement inside Mexico borders. Okay, i.e., basically operations, military operations inside Mexico. Okay, that is just my prediction. They have done it in the past. Basically in the 90s, there were different operations going on inside Central America, South America, Mexico. I believe that they are going to probably, the Trump administration is going to go, give the green light to have, basically, in border of Mexico, military operations. Okay, now that prediction is a pretty safe prediction because there's already escalations. There's already kind of a back and forth with the cartels and the Mexican government as it stands. They don't play. Okay, because it's kind of like a civil war, really. You got the narcos, and then you got the government, and then you got a lot of corruption and all of that type of stuff. I mean, basically the narcos are like, they kind of run Mexico. They literally run Mexico, and then the government just kind of tries to stay out of their way. Might work with them, have secret agreements and deals and stuff like that, but they just try to stay out of each other's way. But I mean, it's that's how that goes down there. Okay, that like I say, that's my prediction. I think that there's going to be basically U.S. military operations inside Mexico. Okay, so that's that. As far as anything else, I mean, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna go all over the place and play fucking Risk or anything like that and go all over the world and say what's gonna happen and all of that. I'll just say that that is one of the things that will probably I can see kind of coming down the pipeline. And I mean that's that. It's kind of already a lot of things going on, man. You know, women are shaking their boots. People that rely on government subsidies, they're shaking in their boots and shit. You know, um, because basically they can see and hear it's a lot of shakeups and a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things as far as what Donald Trump is saying in common sense, uh, um, basically common sense laws or whatever, and it's like basically, yeah, a lot of the free ride stuff. It seems like he's trying to find a way to kind of trim that out or whatever. I mean, I don't really like to rely on the government on some old like I need a check type shit or I need to get this or that. I just don't like doing it because even if I qualified for it, like it's just like, man, it's a headache. And then, you let's just say hypothetically, I go get a link card or a welfare card. Okay, fucking 6 months, I'm back making $50 an hour again, or $30 or whatever the hell I can make. And then I got a fucking, you know what I'm saying? What? And then you risk food stamp fraud, because you getting then if you find out you getting $50 an hour, you know what I'm saying, and you're not supposed to be getting it. What's going on, player? What? You just hear me talking? Oh, you gotta get out of here. You was already in here. So yeah, I mean, I just don't agree with like applying for that shit, man. Plus, I don't know, man. I mean, it's like if you if you already got like a lot of weight, why would you? I don't know. I'm not trying to take in more food. I mean, it's like it's just unnecessary in my opinion. But if you got family and shit, and you need that shit. I mean, I would say, yeah, it's cool. I mean, if you pay taxes, you've already paid for somebody else, man, to get, welfare. I mean, if you need welfare, you should get welfare. You know, if you need that for your family to get by, to get to a better spot. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but people getting it for like a long term solution. I mean, that whole like kind of like cosplaying poor to get, like a $500 or $600 link card or welfare card or whatever you want to call it, whatever they call it, because they call it different things in different states. Like in Illinois, it's called a link card. I don't know what it's called in Indiana. A freedom card. I don't fucking know. I mean, but the thing is that yeah, like the people that need it the most is like okay, temporary unemployment, temporary job loss, or disability or something like that. Yeah, you need it. You need it, but it's the problem is people have been using it for a long-term solution. Section 8, a long-term solution. All these things being like a long-term solution. obviously you got to understand it's plenty, you know, it's a lot of places in the world they don't even have welfare. Don't nobody have no welfare. Like it's a lot of countries in Africa, they don't have any welfare. It's no such thing as welfare. Like in a lot of countries in Africa, it's no welfare. You if it and it really is no credit either. You know, it's no credit. Like when I tell people, when I talk about like there's no credit in a lot of countries, it's cash and carry. Like people don't really think about that. And it's so fucked up. This how fucked up. Like when I talk about credit, when I really, really talk about credit, like it, you know, the people with they, you know, they 625 or 50 credit score and their 700 credit score with their pinky and their thumb, you know, because they got access to rich people's money. And then when a guy like myself comes around them, they all quiet and shit and looking sideways and you know thinking to themselves because you know it's like people have a mindset that they're doing well because they have access to basically wealthy people's money. That's all credit is. It's access to wealthy people's money. And all the while you not actually being wealthy. You know, like you get a mortgage for a nice house and you get a car payment for a nice car and you literally got you got these things based off of credit. And then what goes on is you know, you're balling off of monthly payments. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you looking down, and then it's so fucked up. People actually have, most people actually have mortgages and car payments, and they literally look down on other people that, you know, they think are lesser than. And it's like, nigga, you got a monthly payment to put in the motherfucking mail the next month, or you got to go pay your car payment. You gotta go pay your mortgage next month, motherfucker. What the hell are you looking down on somebody? Like, are you serious? And but see, that's the delusion. You could say that's financial delusion, right? That is fucking financial delusion. And a lot of people have that mindset. Most Americans have that delusional mindset of, you know, I'm balling out of control. And then, you know, they lose their job. And this is where people want to start, you know, offing themselves. They want to drink themselves away. They get severely depressed because it's like the game is up. That game was based off of you having stable, constant income, and you don't have that. And then you know what I'm saying, you blow through your savings, and then you realize and you get humbled real motherfucking fast. And you realize, damn, you got duped because everything you got was based off of you having some type of stable fucking employment. And then you're an asshole looking down on other people. Then you go to work with the same mentality. Then they fired your ass. And then now you got to be humble and you walking around quiet as hell because you don't want to tell nobody, you know, that you fucking damn near about to probably lose your house because you can't make that goddamn mortgage payment because you know you get unemployment but it's really not enough because you got all these other payments, you got these credit card bills. And this is the fucking thing, that this is the games that people play in their head. That you know, it's like, yeah, you basing things off of you getting a fucking credit line. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, other people, they don't live like that. You know, I'll never forget. I still to this day, man, the dude savings minus debt, man. I mean, a lot of this stuff that he used to talk about, that shit is eating motherfuckers up right now. I mean, he was way more aggressive with talking about stuff like, as far as, you know, he called people debt slaves. I mean, you know, I mean, the whole calling people broke versus debt slaves, like the debt slaves is obviously more worse, but people don't like being called broke either. But yeah, he called people fucking debt slaves, And that's, that's really extreme, and it's not inaccurate, because actually that's what you are. When you have debt, you are a slave to that actual debt. You got student loans, you got a mortgage, you got, car payments. That shit is like a ball and chain every month, trying to pay that shit or trying to pay it off early. It is you're indebted to whoever you borrow from. That is a thing. And a lot of the stuff that he used to say, that shit is coming to, really, really, people are having a hard time dealing with that, because what's going on right now is economic warfare. Okay. I thought about that shit the other day. I was like, man, this is economic warfare that's going on. The trimming of jobs, economic warfare. You didn't know that? That's when, and who can survive economic warfare? Only the wealthy, or people that basically have anything to survive. If you got a mortgage and you got car payments, you're financially vulnerable in a situation of economic warfare. You know what I'm saying? You're very vulnerable, because basically everything is based off of you having stable monthly income. Second, you don't have monthly income. Now you realize, now when I'm talking right now you realize that I am somewhat of a financial expert now. Yeah, you thought, because see, I haven't really talked about this shit in a minute. Yeah, now you realize who you listening to now. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, yeah, all of that income based payments that you were making, it was based off of you having actual income. With you not having any income, it's a totally different experience. Way more complicated without any income coming in. You know, yeah. You think you know what I'm saying. Now you real, like, you already know this. Now now you don't really want to hear this shit, because now it sounds like your daddy talking to you, or your granddaddy talking to you, or your uncle or some shit. Yeah, it was based off of you having stable, steady monthly income. Second, you don't have stable monthly income, you are very, very vulnerable. And to be honest, you're vulnerable from the start, because that's the whole thing about trying to make payments. If you ain't got no monthly income coming in, good luck on trying to make those payments. So yeah, like, a lot of countries don't have no credit system like, America or other countries. They don't have that. If you don't have any money to get a house, okay, you're gonna have to build this tin roof, or this, wooden, little small little shack or whatever, and then, hope to heavens that your children can make enough money, and then, you know, they can go buy a house one day, or go to another country and make some money, and, send it back to build a house, or whatever the case may be. That's what a lot of people's financial plans is in, quote unquote, the third world, or, the developing world, as they say. Like, yeah, in America, like, the whole credit system stuff, yeah, that's a luxury. And a lot of people, really, to be honest, they don't know how to really use it, because, you know, um, a lot of things you really don't need to fucking get no loan or nothing on. People. I was watching a video. I shared a video. It's a dude. I think he'd go by AC Reacts, where he was reacting to this one woman talking about she got $30,000 in credit card debt, and she, whatever she wants, if she wants it, she was just swiping. She wants something for her husband, she'll just swipe her card. She wants something for her children, she just swipe it. And this is the stuff. This is the psychology of it's the psychology of money. You didn't know that? Yeah, it's a psychology of money. Money is psychological. Okay, so if you have mental problems, if you're delusional, that is going to show up in your expenses, in your expenditures. Okay, yes, it is a thing, right? It is very much a thing. And the thing is that, yeah, that type of delusion, a lot of women do, a lot of women have that delusion of, basically, they have this kind of like, a lot of black women have this, and it's just not black women, it's just women in general, because they really like to be high class. You think I like to be high class? Black women, I mean, other women, white women, Asian women, Hispanic women, they really revel in everything, all aspects of high class. Like, high class ain't shit compared to, how women get into, the muck and the weeds of the whole high class paradigm. I could do a video on the female high class paradigm within itself. Okay. And I'm going somewhere here. I'm just talking. I'm not gone anywhere. I've just talked about how basically welfare is, basically being trimmed down, in the process of being trimmed down by the Trump administration. But I'm just saying, as far as the credit system, yes, a lot of these women, and I love women, okay, but I just gotta call it how it is. I gotta be the preacher telling the truth, and it hurts. Like, a lot of these women, they want to be high class, but they don't have no high class as far as no money. You know what I'm saying? The whole keeping up with the Joneses shit. A lot of the pressure of keeping up with the Joneses, believe it or not, is the women. Like, I'm gonna call it how it is. Like, shit, I got family members. They under extreme pressure from their wife to get a certain house, get a certain car, you know, buy this, buy that. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? Really, that's some simp shit. That's simp stuff. And I know it. And a lot of the baby boomers, are, a lot of them are simps. That's how they were raised. That's what they, were brainwashed in a sense to be, is simps, and making sure their wife is happy and kowtowing to their wife, whatever their wife want to do. I was listening to somebody, I think, Platinum Elite. He's like, a lot of dudes. He's seen dudes. He called them stuffed animals. You know what I'm saying? Like, they like stuffed teddy bears. Like, they have no, they're like soft as soft as baby poo. Like, that, whatever they wife say, they do. Like, the wife say, we going, we about to leave, let's go. The husband just gets right up and then goes, like he's just like 5 years old, and his mama told him he gotta go. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's that type of shit, man. I mean, and don't get me wrong, these the dudes be like watching my videos, they be sneak watching, they be all guilty and shit. They like, damn, this motherfucker done, he done, made me feel bad again, because I'm living in this reality, and I'm not about to divorce my wife either. I'm just gonna keep on, I'm just gonna keep on keeping. When she tell me to jump, I'ma just jump. That's all. But I get it. I mean, you already in that paradigm. I mean, you'll eventually crash out. I mean, if not, I mean, I understand you feel like you made your bed and you got to lie in it, whatever. But the thing is this, right? A lot of these women do have this little high class paradigm, where they want to be high class at all costs, knowing damn well they don't even make $100,000 a year, knowing damn well they ain't rich, they not wealthy, they don't have it like that, but they want to prance around. You see these women, and it goes into the narcissism, it goes into the delusion. You could see this, I can see the face. I can see the high class paradigm face. And the face is, I'm doing good. I got my, I got my brand new 2024, and I got a car note on it. Every, like, these women get car payments And a lot of, to be honest, a lot of black women are, it's really bad because black people don't really have money like that. They don't got businesses like that. They don't have the money like that. So, when you see black women going getting brand new cars and, basically stimulating the economy, knowing damn well, the economy don't really, it's a lot of stuff that's done, as far as like black people not getting financially supported from their businesses, getting financial opportunities. It'd be the same black women and just be like, oh, you know what? Macy's having a sale. Neiman Marcus is having a sale. I'm about to go to the mall. Shoot, you want to come, girl? And it's like, yeah, it's a lot of that type of shit. It's a lot of that, it's kind of a differences of opinion, like, or a difference of mindset. It's like a lot of black women, they be like basically, all in kind of like just fully supportive of whatever's going on, as long as they can get their damn credit card and go shopping at the mall and give a fuck about what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why they talking about, I need the highest bidder. I need me a white man. I need Zaddy, because they don't care about what the fuck is going on or anything like that. They not on no code or none of that shit. They just want somebody to fucking spend some money on them, so they can keep shopping and being delusional. And it's like, yeah, a lot of that shit, I know about that shit. I known about that shit for years. I don't really talk about shit like that because it's like, I just keep that shit to myself. But it's people talk about that shit. I mean, Mr. Z, he kind of talks about that a lot. He talks about that damn near that's his whole main platform. But I mean, that's his business. But he goes in the weeds of that. But the thing is that, yeah, that's a big problem. We can't have no generational wealth because, Betty, she getting a fucking new truck every 4 years. We can't get out of debt. We got to get a bigger house. We got to refinance the house because Betty, she wants a brand new kitchen. you know all of that type of stuff, man. It is a thing, and that's why you should avoid women like that. And you should, basically, like, keep your patriarchal fucking foot on their neck if you even have a woman like that, and tell her, no, you ain't doing shit. We got a plan, we got a goal. You go against that goal, you basically, no, you're not buying no Amazon. You got a fucking budget. This is your budget. Like it or not. If you don't like it, the door is right there. And then you gotta stand on that shit. A lot of dudes don't stand on it because, they want in-house pussy more than generational wealth, more than anything. And they're just, kind of caveman about shit. They just like, oh well, whatever she says goes. She got a fat ass though. She got a fat ass though. And it's like, yeah, that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, I mean, that's why guys be like, you know what? I'll just do what I'm saying, do, man, and deal with these women the best way I possibly can, or get my passport, get on a plane, go somewhere else, like, and then just do that as much as I possibly can, or whatever the case may be, because they don't want to deal with all that shit. And um, it's old news for me, because I mean, like, a lot of this stuff ain't new. I mean, the young chicks doing this. I mean, they mama did the same thing. Didn't care nothing was going on, as long as they can have some shopping bags, they cool. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is that, the brainwashing, the commercials, the magazines, all of that type of stuff. They like, women like shopping. Okay, they like high status shit. Like, women are very, very into high status. I mean, they fuel high status. It's all about high status, but it gets game goofy and clownish when you know damn well they ain't got the money to pay for that shit. That's why they be broke. And a lot of women, they living in their cars and getting evicted and shit because they don't know how to balance the budget. You know, like they don't know how to balance. They don't know how to keep a budget. I'm not saying all women, but a lot of them don't. They don't know how to use no budget. They don't know how to, basically stop shopping. Go cold turkey, whatever the case may be. They need really the direction of a man that has some type of financial sense, but they don't even have no man. So they have to go get advice from their friends that might have some type of financial understanding or more understanding, than the average woman, for advice. What I'm saying? They have to go ask somebody, that can for help or whatever, file bankruptcy, all of these things because yeah, they wanna be high class and they're not high class. The reality, they don't want to deal with the reality. And the reality is no, you can't pigeonhole the, high class. You ain't high class, boo. You might not ever be high class, and the way that you going about it, you ain't gonna never be. Like as far as financially being a financial elite person that has a whole bunch of money to buy a whole bunch of things, no, that's not. You can't credit card your way into that. That's your credit card ain't gonna make you elite or high class like that. Like if you buying using it to, kind of buy investments and stuff like that, maybe you might be on to something. But going to go buy shoes and purses and outfits and what I'm saying, whatever little knickknacks and paddywhacks and all of that stuff, that's not gonna make you no fucking high class person just because you buying this shit and putting it on. I learned that shit from my mother. I learned that shit from my mother, my sisters, a whole bunch of people. Like you can't high class your way into being high class, like on with using a credit card to buy like clothes and shit like that. You know what that's like? Go on YouTube and then type in Congo, people from the Congo that wear like high fashion or something like that. Or I don't know if it's the Congo. I think it's the Congo, but like it's a thing where these men in the Congo, surrounded by poverty, they dress up, to kind of like look a certain way, because they want to, it's just they want to like look high class and stuff like that, even though they surrounded by poverty. That's what that is. That's very similar to that. Like, you want to look a certain way, knowing damn well you don't have it. And it's like, yeah, they have other peer pressure from other women to do that, and it's like, yeah, all women do that. All women across all classes, as far as lower class or middle class, do that. And then they get into debt, and then they be crying, they be depressed. Then they got to take psychotropics because they all depressed because they in debt. They got, student loan debt. They got this debt, that debt, that debt, this debt. And it's like, yeah, like they just want to have fun and, kind of like a teenager, women when they go shopping, they like going shopping. My little girls, man, they like going shopping. That's the thing with girls and women. They like shopping. They like they get some type of like endorphin boost and serotonin boost when they go shopping. It's like, a high, going shopping, and they get older, and then they keep that thing still keeps going, and they like doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like even when they ain't got no money, they still like doing it. And then it gets out of control when you get older, and you ain't got no money, and it's just a constant state of not having no money because you got a whole closet full of clothes. You got clothes all over the place. You got shoes all over the place, purses, and then you ain't got no money. You got a bunch of credit card debt. You got a bunch of, all of these different, you got a mortgage, you got a car payment, and then now you crying, you depressed because you know what I'm saying, you looking, you might have to file bankruptcy, or you pretty much you filed bankruptcy. You got an attorney that's gonna file bankruptcy for you because basically you got shit got out of hand. You single. And the reason why a lot of times women, one of the reasons why women like to be single is because they know if they got a husband, their husband ain't gonna let them, sink the ship, and he's on the ship. I mean, the average man, he's not going to, go down on those ship just because his woman is want to go shopping every fucking weekend. You know, get Amazon unlimited Amazon orders and all of that. That's silly shit. Like, yeah, a lot of that is not having a man in the house to check them. Like, who gonna check me, boo? You know that the who a lot of that, who gonna check me, boo? Basically they check themselves because they realize, okay, I don't have it like that, and I want to have it like that, but I don't really have it like that. And then, I got all this debt, and I'm depressed, and it's like, man, why I gotta work? Who gonna take care of me? That's why, that's one of the reasons why Kevin Samuels blew up. That's why he blew up, because you had a whole bunch of women like that where they seeing, okay, well, it is men that can actually kind of help me, kind of live a certain way, but I really don't know how to really deal with these men, because that's the thing. A man that is quote unquote higher salaried and high value, if you want to even say, they tend to know a little bit about finance. That's how they got to that level. I mean, they knew, okay, how to keep a budget, how to pay off, high interest debt, how to do, certain financial fundamentals. And they have a discipline, and they not about to listen to no chick. They not about to take no chick on, and then just, she all of a sudden she gonna just take his money and then spend it all. Like, I mean, that happens, but that on average does not happen like that. No man is, working as an executive for a corporation making $185,000 a year plus corporate card, business class, basically travel, company car, and just gonna let some chick he just meet just basically take all his money and just basically leave him with nothing, or just come in and dictate what he spent his money on and what he don't spend his money on. Like, that tends to not happen like that. It tends to be the man is also an executive when he goes home, and he demands a certain type of woman to basically be in accordance with his goals, his direction and stuff like that. And a lot of those women have a problem with that type of reality. They don't know how to deal with that, and they don't want to deal with that, so they run from that. And that's why they go get with basically kind of financially inferior men and try to control them, until they get it, get tired of that, and they have to break up and all of that type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's this song and dance where, you got basically women that basically are unchecked, out of control, spend all their money, and then, talking about they don't want a Brokey or a Dusty, and they're broke and Dusty. And then you seeing this now. You seeing all of this crash out. Like you got chicks on TikTok glamorizing living in a car, being homeless, and this is on display. Like, people can see this. This is on the world stage. People in China can see this. People in the Middle East can see this, and they're laughing, eating popcorn, while some like just highly delusional black woman is talking about how she's living in her car or living, she's living in her cubicle, in her desk, because her manager lets her, sleep at the office. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's all of this nonsense, man. It's just like, you know, I'm crazy and delusional and I gotta live a certain way because I messed up. But I can't. I'm doing the best I can, and basically, a lot of these women they don't look half bad. They like average, mid chicks, but it's like they cannot listen to a man, and they suffering because they cannot listen to a man, and it's like yeah, it's tripped out, and here's the thing, right? Some of these women got kids, man. And I'm gonna tell you this, okay? And I'm gonna continue on my predictions. I'm gonna try to not make this long, but I've already kind of been lengthy. But here's the thing: if I mean, it's just for only a responsible dad. Okay, if you're not a responsible dad, this is a mute point because you don't give a fuck. You don't give a fuck your kids wherever they are because you're not responsible. But if you're a responsible dad and your kids are living in a car or they homeless somewhere and you don't really know where they are, like basically you can all you got I'm not a lawyer. Get a lawyer if you can, but motion basically file a motion or file some type of custody agreement. Okay, go to court and file a custody agreement, some type of custody agreement order or something like that. Because if your children are homeless because their mom is delusional, that's an actual mental problem. You can get your custody of your kids possibly because the mom is basically here's the thing also a lot every state has different laws, but it is you can technically lose custody of your kids, and women know this. Homeless women know this as well. If they find out that you're homeless with your children, like, and you're not seeking actual help, like you're not seeking assistance, like you're not trying to go to a shelter, you're not seeing a social worker to try to help you, you can lose your kids to custody of your children to the state. Okay, because the state is not supposed to allow children to be on the street living in a car with no heat, and what I'm saying, like just in the cold, just trying to survive because their mom is delusional and spent all her money away, like a crackhead, on fashion and designer, and now we got to live in a car, and she doesn't want to reach out to her baby daddy or ex-husband, and tell him about the suffering because she's got a long-term beef. She's like petty beefing with him for she been petty beefing with him for years. Yeah, you can get custody of your kids, and if she don't go to court, the basically sheriffs can basically arrest her for not showing up to court. and they could take custody of the kids right then and there. Matter of fact, if she don't go to court, you automatically get custody of the kids. And then once you got full custody of the children, basically you find out where she is, and then basically the sheriffs will basically take the kids from her. I know this is the type of stuff people don't really want to talk about because you don't want to offend women and all that other shit and all that. You look at women as like some monolith that you trying to not offend and all that goofy shit. This has nothing to do with all women. This has to do with irresponsible women that have children that have all of these psychological fucking mind ticks and shit that they, basically have, and then they have children, and then the children have to suffer because their mom is psychologically unfucking fit. This is what that's about. And it's like, I mean, I know it's some dudes that they don't even go to the courts. They just take their kids. They get their cousins, or they get they sisters or whatever. They find out where the chick is, and then they just take the damn kids. And you know what happens? The chick don't even go to court because she already knows she foul. She knows she's fucked up. I mean, that's jungle justice. That's jungle justice or caveman justice. But I mean, basically, she ain't going to no court. She might call the police or something like that. But then they're not getting in on no custody dispute. The police job is just gonna be like basically, this is a custody dispute. This is what this is about. You got to go to court. You got to see, about this and all of that, and that's how that goes. But, yeah, you don't want your kids, man, to be living in no fucking car, sleeping on no goddamn train and all that shit because the woman is fucking out of her fucking mind and she's dragging the kids down with her. Man, you go get your kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, seriously, like, you get your goddamn kids, man, because your kids gonna be suffering, dealing with all kind of other shit because they mom is all out there fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Don't fall for that. Like, if you are a responsible parent, don't just be like, she got to work it out and be all like, you know, passive about it because you don't want to see the mother, your children be hurt, and you don't want to see the kids and all of that be hurt. Nah, man, it ain't. They already hurt because they living with her and they struggling. Women, what they do is because they be so narcissist and delusional and all kind of other psychological problems, they look at it as a tit for tat. They look at it as you versus them versus you being the father. And because they have this little demonic, petty little back and forth with the children's father, they try to just basically deal with everything by themselves and struggle by themselves and not reach out to significant their children's father, for any help, or they do it if it's an emergency or something like that. But you got a lot of women, they don't even reach out to their baby's father or ex-husband or whatever because they in some long-term, beef with their children's father because he didn't choose them. He chose some other woman. He didn't marry them. He left because she started cussing him out and all this long-term bullshit that probably could be resolved with a couple weekends of sitting on the couch. She let this shit fester and go for, years, if not decades. And, she's struggling and shit, and she don't want to reach out to, the dad because, she's got this ego battle with him, this long-term ego battle with her, children's father and shit. So yeah, just, and that's another thing. Like, I think that, basically there will be some shakeups as far as, child support and custody and stuff like that. Because I mean, it's just been a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I think I heard it's so much going on. It's hard to even really keep up with it. But I think I saw something where they trying to, readjust child support or custody agreements or something like that. You know, I think that that's something also that's down the road. Just to, put that in the prediction. It probably is going to be some type of shakeup. You know, um, you got a lot of women going absolutely crazy. The feminists they're going absolutely ape shit crazy over all of these things, and you could see basically how crazy and fucking delusional they are. The future cat moms of America, with no kids. They're just future, dog cat moms, no ass bitches to get, any kids because probably they murdered their kids. Um, you see a chick on Bumble and she say reproductive rights. That just basically means she's gonna kill your future baby. That's all that means. I know you don't care because you just swipe right on everything because that's your dating method for dating apps. You just swipe right on all of the women, right? So, but yeah, you do look at their fucking profile and you see reproductive rights. That means yeah, they okay with offering you your baby and their baby too. That's what that means. Like, yeah, this is a sick country in a lot of regards. Like, I mean, one of the things I have to say is um a lot of my viewpoints are based not even based off of like some conservatism or anything like that. I mean, I was brought up Muslim, so yeah, in Islam there is no fucking abortion. Like the abortion in Islam is okay. You killed your baby. Okay, all right, you're you're dead too. That's how that goes. And that's why I really, to be honest, like, when I tell women my name and shit, because my name is, Arabic name, Abdul, they already know I ain't on that fuck shit. They already know, women are not dumb. They already know, basically, most likely, I ain't fucking pro abortion. I ain't a lot of shit. And they know it. When I tell them my name, like, they already know, yeah, I'm not with the fuck shit, you know? And the thing is I'm not. And a lot, it's just, it has nothing to do with no Republican or Democrat. It's kind of more just religious ideology and stuff like that. But it's just how I was raised, and it's very, very common sense. It's like, who would just kill their fucking baby? Like, I mean, only besides a wicked, crazy person. And it's like, yeah, like these people don't never come for me, and they never will because they got nothing for me. You know, I mean, absolutely nothing. And it ain't nothing to come, and it's like, yeah, I see through a lot of the foolishness. I ain't gonna lie, I walk around my head up high. I walk around with my head up fucking high, confident than a motherfucker. Cause I mean, it's like a lot of these motherfuckers are fucked up in the head, and they have some fucked up ass ideologies, and they're brainwashed, and I know it. But the thing is this, yeah, it's gonna be some fucking shakeups. It's a lot of fucking shakeups. I'll say further as far as predictions, the car market is going to continue to fall. Car market is going to continue to fall. So, save your money. If whatever car that you want, you're probably going to have the best price that you could possibly get for it. Because the car market is going to continue to fucking drop. It's not coming back no time soon. And then the same thing with houses. Okay, you save your money. You might be able to buy a house cash. That's my predictions for 2025 as far as real estate and cars. Basically the price is going to continue to drop, even unfortunately for me, because I have real estate. Okay, it's going to continue to fucking drop. Real estate prices as well as car prices. All right, moving along. Um, the state of dating and mating in America, I think it's gonna get better. I think it's gonna get better. I think people are, I smell a little love in the air, man. You know what I'm saying? I think love is coming back a little bit. The pick me wars of 2025 is rearing its ugly head, and we got some serious pick me's that's going at these motherfucking hyenas, and these hyenas are living in cars. They getting towed up. They living in cars, they living in bus stops, they living in cubicles. Man, these hyenas, man, are getting towed the fuck out the frame. And you know what I'm saying? Um, shit, you gonna start hearing love music on the radio in the fucking, you know what I'm saying, you know, you gonna you gonna start hearing, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, you gonna start NBA young boy gonna start making love songs, man. um, yeah, man, 2025, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah, it's gonna start coming back because these young guys, they getting gamed up, they getting gamed the fuck up. Um, the older guys, they starting to whittle away. They going away and stuff like that, and a lot of the simps, they you know they kind of waking up. Simps get deactivated. Just look at simps like robots. Okay, they have a they have a motherboard, they have microchips. And when they start listening, they open up that fucking YouTube, they open up that Facebook, and then they get a little content. They get a little content. They start reading that content and watching videos. Next thing you know, that motherfucking circuit board, it start frying, it start sparking and shit. And then them damn microchips, man, they start sparking. Then next thing you know, that simp chip is deactivated. You know, that motherfucking simp robot is deactivated. And then every simp robot that's deactivated, that's another simp that's not in service. You know what I'm saying? So every simp that's not in service, that gets deactivated, that is basically, like, I mean, I did a short, with the video I did, a reaction video I did with Game Changer and BGS Sipmore. And I clipped it, and I was like, because I was saying some pretty good stuff, in that reaction. And it was like, be a man, and stand on being a man, and don't take no shit. And yeah, it was pretty practical, and it was pretty good advice. And I mean, pretty much that's all you gotta fucking do, really, for the most part. It ain't really nothing. It's not a lot of shit is really simple when you really figure out the formula. It might be complicated to enact it and actually live that life, because you doing certain things and stuff like that. But basically, that's it in a nutshell. And women know this. Women absolutely know. They know the formula. They just basically try. See, women have to manipulate, and they have to be sneaky and cunning and all of that type of stuff, because they don't have any strength. What makes a man is his might, is his strength. They really don't, they can't fight like that. They can't just be beating on men like that. I mean, I know some of them, they'll give you a run for their money. They got, big backs and masculine frames and all kind of other shit. But, the average woman cannot fight, like that. She can't beat up no dudes and shit like on some, the Equalizer with Queen Latifah. That's just, made believe and all that shit. But the thing is they have to use other tactics to fucking survive, to thrive and survive. And that one of those things is manipulation, psychology, basically, like I said before, uh, being sneaky, all of these types of things. And that's why I'm a cat guy for the most part. Like cat guys know about women more than probably I would even say any like a dog guy or something like that. Because see, here's the thing: like a lot of the nature of a cat, and I've said this before, a lot of the nature of a cat is a woman. Sneaky, cunning. Watching you when your back turn. Stalking and all that type of shit. Yeah, that's what cats do. And it's like, yeah, I've been watching cats my whole life. I've had cats my whole life, man. I grew up with a Afrocentric mom that was into Egypt, and Egyptians and stuff love cats. And I mean, I grew up basically kind of like in a black consciousness type of, my mom was like a black consciousness, somewhat like Afrocentric. She had a thing for African men, and it's like, I grew up, with that understanding. My grandma had books on Egypt, and in her house. Well, I used to, I bought books and stuff from, when I was like in my late 20s. I was into a lot of higher learning and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I mean, the thing is that, yeah, I know a lot about fucking women, and the correlation with them, and cats and stuff like that, how sneaky they are, and cunning they are and stuff like that. And that's why I'm really good with women. That's one of the reasons why I am exceptional with women. I mean, I might have like kind of a, I mean, it's I'm not perfect. I got things I got to work on, as far as like kind of, I mean, I have like some type of, sometimes I have approach, or anxiety or fear of rejection and stuff like that. But the thing is like, as far as women in as a whole, like I mean, I don't have hardly any problems with women, as far as, you know, once the ice is broken and all of that type of stuff. But the thing is that being exceptional with women, learning, the correlation as far as, how they are and stuff like that, why why they do the things they do. I mean, yeah, like a lot of stuff is based off of them having to, basically manipulate men, because they don't have the strength to do it by force. So they have to be cunning, they have to be sneaky and all of that stuff, and manipulative. And when you stand on your frame as far as being a man, you kind of, that's kind of a shield against all of that shit. That's a shield against all of that. And it gets complicated, because then you go to work, and then your boss is a woman, or your higher up is a woman and stuff like that, so it gets kind of complicated. I mean, you just, you do your job. But I mean, yeah, like when it comes to the dynamic of, dating and mating, yeah, you stand on your frame. That's all you really have to do. Like it starts and ends right there. Like you don't have to get out in the weeds, and I don't have to break down no PhD thesis on it and all of that type of stuff. And it's like, yeah, I mean, a lot of things what simps do is overcomplicate shit. They overcomplicate, like they do, like it goes into pets and shit. It goes into like being a pet owner and all that stuff. Like when you reward a bad dog or a bad cat with treats, they do some bad shit, and then you reward them with treats. That's what men do. They reward women's bad behavior, and they just continuously do the bad behavior. you know so yeah, I mean, I have an audience. Just in case you didn't know, my analytics shows about close to 40% of women listen to me. And I ain't gonna lie, like women listen to men because they also, it's kind of like getting the intelligence report. They get that intelligence report in order to basically tighten up their manipulation. They listen to men to become better manipulators, to see what they on, see what the new, see what the new chip, the simp chip activation codes are. so they can reactivate them. Yeah, I know exactly what they're doing. I know exactly what you, because a lot of times I will say this. A lot of women are into, they say basically, I've heard this being said, that women are in business, women are looking for business, or to conduct business. Men are looking for, a relationship and love and stuff. Women are looking to, stand on business, kind of thing. And in a lot of regards, that is true. It's a video that I will be reacting to sometime in the future. And I've reacted to this guy's video because he was talking about how basically women, you got two different types of people in relationships. You got people that are looking for love, and then you got people that are looking for control. And people that looking for control, they don't get along with people that are looking for love. Okay, so like a man looking for control and a woman looking for love, they're probably going to be at odds with each other. You know, a woman that's looking for control and a man looking for love, they're going to be at odds with each other, because basically that woman, she's looking for a certain guy that has probably more or less some type of financial status, or actual affluence or whatever, that can basically provide her some level of lifestyle, and she's trying to, have some type of control, ideally, over that situation too, because it is women that do have certain control mechanisms, or they do control the relationship. A lot of women, low key, they control the relationship. A lot of women in America, they control a lot of relationships. They get men that they can control. Okay, and they don't really have to really do that hard of a work to do it. They just basically get, this is what they do. They get a man that wants them more than they want them. Because you got a lot of dudes that's like, they're they're very, very thirsty for women. Okay, they're just, that's just how men are. They horn dogs. They see, you gotta understand, it's different parts of the country. It's some men that are just not used to beautiful women. They're not used to women that look a certain way, and they get a woman like that. It's like, my precious, like, Gollum off Lord of the Ring. They don't know what to fucking do, and some of these men also, they look at you, if you ain't got no woman and shit like that. They like looking like, this dude is a loser or whatever. And it's like, I mean, I get it. I get the caveman logic, but then you find out these guys are absolutely miserable and all that type of stuff because they woman basically controlling them. You know, they friends laugh at them and call them names, and they get into it with their friends, maybe even because basically they woman tells them to jump, they ask how high, and then they try to over jump, uh how high they actually have to jump and all that type of stuff. Yeah, a lot of these guys don't really like me either, because I point that out. I point their problem out. People really don't like you pointing out their problem. In case you didn't know that. If you're the type of person that points out people's problems, you're not liked. Just in case you didn't know that. Like, that's one of the things that I do well, is I point out people's problems. They're obvious problems. And when you point out people's problems, you're just not necessarily liked, because nobody wants to be, I guess, you're on to them. People don't like that people are on to them, right? It's like a detective that, you're on the case and you're on to them. You're a hound dog, seeking out, the scent. Like, they don't like that. People do not like that, because they think that you don't know their problems, and they don't like to really. A lot of times people try to run away from their problems. They're not trying to deal with that. They when they open on YouTube, they're not trying to deal with their problems. They're trying to look for some type of escape for their problems, so that's kind of how that goes. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of dudes, man. They crashing out, and then they get out of jail, and then they on house arrest, or they get out of jail, and then they don't want that traumatic experience to happen again. So they gon' try to research and find some information or whatever, so they could try to deal with that not ever happening again. A lot of dudes, I was locked up in jail and shit. A lot of dudes is in jail because of some woman. It was related to a woman. You know what I'm saying? From if you studied the source of the reason why they're in a jail is was based off of a relationship with the woman. And there's a lot of men like that was the case, because of the woman that they were basically laying down with, having sex with. That was the reason why they were in that jail cell. Now, and that's quite common. A lot of dudes really, they in situations where they really don't have control over the woman that they in a relationship with. They dealing with women that are kind of modern women. They don't want to be told what to do, and they want to tell you what to do, or they want equality, and I don't, whatever that means. And it's like, yeah, the dude don't know how to really stand on business, or he don't have his money right to really stand on business. So he has to try to you know get through to the woman the best way he can, and it ain't no getting through to certain women, and things get heavy, and police get called, and there you go, right there. That story happens every day. And the thing is that um what's going on as far as what I see in America is that a lot of you have this like kind of paradigm where you have this loneliness epidemic going on in America, and then you also have a relationship epidemic in America. When I go to the grocery store and I see, women with their children, they not smiling, they not happy. You know, they kind of feel down about their situation, and um, it's a thing where they got kids, and they got to deal with the consequences of who they chose and their circumstance, and they still trying to work through some stuff. But they still women. They still have some type of desirability. They still young. I mean, obviously, it's like they're a car that got into an accident. They still can be salvageable, I guess, to a certain extent, but it's like, yeah, they got to work all of this stuff out, and it's a lot of women like that. It's a lot of women that they are single mothers, trying to date, still dealing with men, and trying, they all over the place. And it's like, it's weird because they actually have a lot of men that will take them on, and they have, really, to be honest, they have a lot of men that's willing to take them on. But I guess the men that's willing to take them on, they don't really like, I guess. I mean, or You know, to a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I really, to be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not like I know everything. I don't know the 100% mindset of a woman. Like, I mean, obviously I don't. I'm just saying hypothetically, possibly that might be the case where they don't even want these guys that want them, and then I guess the men that they want don't want them as well. So they have this paradigm where they have all of these men that do want them, but they don't want them. And then the men that they want may fuck them, but then that's it. They won't, do anything else after that, but just besides, you know, um, have some type of sexual release. That's pretty much it. That's where the buck stops there, and then it goes into, they kind of feel disgusted behind that because they don't necessarily want to be someone's uh blow up doll. So then they, try to celibacy route, might go back to church, stuff like that. So yeah, it's like that's what be going on. A lot of times I see with these, single mothers and stuff, and it's like, they still really not listening to their father. Even if they have a father, they not listening to their father. You got women that ain't got no father, so they listening to women for advice, and the mom that probably don't most likely have a relationship, that is in a basically a marriage situation where their mom is married. The mom probably never even got married. So it's just all of that type of stuff. Dysfunction. Basically, and you got to understand why I'm talking about all of this. you know the wealthy already have a nuclear family or an extended family, and they already are winning. Okay, they are continuously winning, while people that's dysfunctional are trying to get it together, trying to figure things out. While the dysfunctional people are trying to figure things out, the wealthy are already winning with their nuclear families, with their extended families. And that's one thing you got to realize, in this paradigm of what I'm talking about, as far as this whole, single motherism and all of this baby mama-ism, baby daddy-ism. The wealthy are already have some type of parental unit of a man, woman, child, or man, woman, child, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, cousins, and an extended family, and are absolutely crushing life. They're the ones that have these houses, these big houses that I see on a day-to-day basis. They have, beach houses, vacation houses. They have multitudes of wealth, in various accounts, brokerage accounts, so on and so forth, retirement accounts, businesses, investments, so on and so forth. And they are married. And it might not be a perfect situation. It might be all kinds of different situations, but they are fucking, basically as a team crushing it, while people are trying to figure shit out on a lower socioeconomic level. Usually this is lower socioeconomic conversations, as far as, baby mama ism, baby daddy ism, and trying to figure things out to have some type of relationship, all that type of stuff, man. Because the thing is like, you gotta understand, this all of this stuff is based off of scarcity mindset, lack of abundance mindset, in basically, households that were, people that were raised by dysfunction. A lot of times people, one of the things that I learned, going to school and everything, going to, be a social worker and stuff, you take all these psychology courses and whatnot, is that people that are dysfunctional, they, basically have a hard time being functional, to have functional relationships when they get older. It's like basically they have a hard time having functional relationships. That is a thing. If you thinking, oh damn, why do I have all, it's because most likely it's linked to you having a dysfunctional household. A lot of dysfunctional households, they have a hard time having a functional relationships because they don't have any concept to go by. You are a product of what you see. When you see your parents, that is what you see. It is very, very difficult to break break away from that. Your parents are the first teachers. So when you see your parents all single and shit, you see your mama, taking men on, you know 6 months she got one dude, 6 months later she got another dude, the next year she got another dude, and you seeing this growing up, that's dysfunctional. And then when you grow up, you might do the same thing, or whatever. You seeing, that's what you see is your mom, your teacher, teaching you how to date and mate. And the way she's dating and mating is, basically an example of you, and then you grow up and follow that example. And then it's like that's basically generational dysfunction. Okay. It's a thing. I mean, I hope that my education or my understanding help someone as far as bridge the gap of why they have the problems they have. And I'm not gonna lie, like, you probably want to talk to maybe a therapist or someone, seek therapy or a consultation from someone that has a sustainable marriage, and possibly even they were raised with basically two parents, so they can kind of tell you like where you might have some kind of mind gaps, or mind viruses, to where you think the way you think. They can help you probably get it. The reason why I say seek out a therapist that has basically is married, because what you have is, if you go to like that chick Lane Bryant or whatever, Dr. Bryant or whatever, see, you have a is a problem with a person that is not leading by example. Okay. Like, I'm okay with even a person having a sham marriage that is just like part of their brand, you know. And it's like, okay, at least this person is married. Like, you talking about marriage and you're not married. And that's the thing with the whole pick me's thing too. Cause I ain't gonna lie, like, the whole pick me thing is kind of weird too, because like, okay, you're a pick me, why you ain't got no dude? You're supposed to be like queen pick me, and you ain't got no, you haven't picked a man has not picked you. It's not no man, you know, that basically you could pick from. Like, it's like them chicks off, like, I don't even, I don't really get into that shit. Like, I listen to them chicks sometimes, I mean, a lot of the pick me chicks, or quote unquote technically pick me chicks, are married, you know, because they tend to be more logical, and kind of, try to understand men. So, they kind of tend to cater to men. So I mean, that's obviously, the way of marriage, the way of, a healthy, sustainable relationship, that, two parties that care about each other. I mean, the thing is this though. I mean, you do have a lot of women that, are basically, they talking shit, but they don't even have anyone. They're not married. Like, even that chick that was married to Tyrese, she still got a channel and she's still talking shit. And it's like, what in the whole fuck? Like, you're a fucking chameleon. you're like a fucking the queen chameleon. I mean, you talking all of this shit about, relationships are tough, but you gotta stick with it. It's like, bitch, you goddamn it, then stick with your husband. You talking all of this shit, and you let your friends basically convince you to divorce your A-list celebrity, R&B singer, Grammy Award winning singer. You dumb bitch. Why are you? If why do you even still have a YouTube channel talking about some goddamn relationships? you know and it's like, I mean, yeah, it is some women like that is in that type of, I guess, realm or space, if you want to call it. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's goofy, it's real goofy, because, I mean, women really, to be honest, they can get married in fucking 6 months, because it's like women already have what men want. you know, they have, like, everything else is a fucking bonus. I mean, shit. I mean, I mean, it's not hard for women to actually get married if they want to. They know certain men that was probably even women willing to marry them. Like, I mean, they just, it's risky and all of that type of shit. I get that, but it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're the, so good of a pick me, you would have a ring on your finger. So it's like, some of that shit is based off of, kind of trying to, woo men to get, some type of financial compensation by content on the internet. Okay, obviously. And it's like, yeah, I mean, this, like I said again, this actual, like, realm that we in, or era that we in, is is basically, it's never a time in history, because a lot of things are lopsided, because men are so thirsty. Not like men in China, but men are so thirsty in America. It's never a time in history that a woman can get married than now, because it's just so many thirsty men that are looking for women. I mean, it's like, shit. If you're not married, it's something like, you got some type of, like, you're really really picky, or like you want certain types of men that don't want you, or you can't really navigate, how to choose the right man, or you don't want to choose the right man, because you talk that pick me shit, but you really a strong, kind of back talking hyena that, really can't listen to no men. You just talk that shit on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of that type of stuff, but the thing is that, yeah, I do think it is going to be like some type of, like, maybe resurgence of, trying to have some type of stability, trying to have some type of relationship, trying to, I'm not saying like come back to the table on some shit like that. I'm just saying, like, people gonna probably try to work things out, as far as, like, see what's going on, let's tell some horror stories, and see how bad, how bad things actually are, and see what's what. Let's find some type of way, whatever. It's all kinds of ways. It's all kinds of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff I don't talk about, because it's kind of personal, and it's kind of, it goes into, like, other stuff that it's not really, you don't want it on a public space anyway. I mean, it's certain stuff I don't even put on my blog. Like, it's just, it's personal, and I mean, it's more of some conversation that I would have, like, maybe one on one, like, somebody like called me on some consultations type stuff, and they asked me certain questions. I might answer that in that capacity, but on no internet and all that, on a public, space, and talking about, like, the interdynamic possibilities of courtship with women and all that. No, I'm not. I mean, I did talk about some things on my Patreon, but I mean, that's another story. But the thing is that basically I do see a change, slight change as far as more positivity towards relationships in America. Okay. Um, and why is that? I guess I will say this. It's a combination of, like I said, the simp chips deactivating, and then women kind of seeing the writing on the wall. Like I have I have this side over here, this like crossroads. I go to the left, it's baby mama ism, and um just basically I'll never be married. I'll just be old, and and I'll have my kids, or I'll not have my kids, and I'll just have my dog and cat, or this side over here is with this man that I really kind of don't really like men like that. I hate all men, but I don't want to be by myself, and I do need therapy. you know um that's the road, right? Left or right, and I do see maybe some women trying to go right. you know Men are already like, damn, they just, I want some pussy every day. I want some pussy. That's how dudes think. In case women didn't know, like, dudes are, that's how we're programmed. We're programmed every day. I gotta get some pussy. I gotta get some pussy. Like no matter what, I mean, women already know this. Like, we trying to talk to us and all that, and really, you be trying to take your time and all that goofy shit, and it's like dude already trying to get some pussy. Like he won't, like, and it really, I'm not gonna go into that, but it's like, yeah, dudes wake up every day, man, I want some pussy. That's how we wake up, go to sleep. Damn, I want some pussy. Like that's just how we're in a lot of ways we're very very simple, But I mean, the thing is that we already programmed to want women. Like that's just how we're wired, you know. But the thing is that, yeah, like a lot of women, they overcomplicate and shit. It's a lot to go on. It is a lot going on in the world. It's a lot of chaos. I talked about how how when it's chaos, when the economy's messed up, and I'm gonna get to that, and then I'm gonna get out of here. But basically, when things get chaotic and the money's messed up, women just kind of shut down. Okay, that's the element, is what's going on as well. Like women been shutting down because, as far as like not really confident as far as things, as far as dating and all that stuff, and opening their legs, because it's like, yeah, the economy's fucked up, jobs been fucked up for a long time. It's not just recent. This is like been going on for about 10 years now. And the thing is that, yeah, that's not in the words of the young folks, giving. I want to open my legs and take risks and have babies. Like, it's just not giving that, right? Because the money situation is tight, And I'm gonna go into that, and then I'm gonna close as far as my predictions. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about the economic warfare. Okay, now let me go into further about what I mean about economic warfare. So what's going on is you have the elites and technocrats engaging in economic warfare. Now, what do I mean by economic warfare? So what they're doing is they're trying to basically minimize jobs. They're trying to trim jobs. I don't know how long they're trying to do this, but when they do this, because basically they're the ones, like, basically the most vulnerable in this is the people that need jobs. Obviously, the lower income individuals, even medium to even higher income individuals are vulnerable in this regard as far as needing jobs and then getting axed. Like before I got on here, I was scrolling through videos and it was just this one woman. She was talking about. I mean, I didn't listen to the video. I just saw the headline. She said I got laid off from my six-figure job, my six-figure tech job. So the thing is that the most vulnerable for this is obviously people that don't have that are not wealthy and don't have much, right? That's the most vulnerable. And that's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of people in America. So, it's like the haves and the have-nots, right? So the haves are trimming jobs, they're trimming jobs, so that makes it that makes a bottleneck with people, where now the money is tightened. The money flow, the cash flow is tightened because you have people that are gainfully employed. Now they're not gainfully employed, so they don't really have that much money. And then that's where the whole I don't have enough money to buy a car. People are still losing their houses. And unless something else happens miraculously, people are still going to be losing their houses. Foreclosures are still going to be going on. Uh, you know, Evictions are still going to be going on for renters. And the thing is that yes, this is the elites economic warfare. Now you see, that's one of the reasons why that dude shot that CEO. Like there is a lot of back and forth as far as people not liking Elon Musk. They what I'm saying, a lot of people have fuck Elon as far as their type of rhetoric, because basically he is a technocrat. He is pretty much kind of helping Donald Trump and all of that type of shit. And it's like, yeah, I mean, basically, they like, okay, well, you guys are fucking around with these jobs. You guys are fucking around with a lot of different things. And, basically, it's still people out here that's struggling. They ain't got nothing. And then, the previous administration, and their, mismanagement of funds, sending money to Ukraine, sending money to Israel, and all that other shit. When it's like, people complaining about, not having, all the homelessness, in America, and the people that, had, basically problems from, I think North Carolina had some type of hurricane or tornado or something like that to touch down, and they lost their homes, and then the government offered, I think, like $700 or something like that, you know, and it's like, yeah, like basically a lot of people, man, they are, dealing with basically these, this inadequacy, this unequitable wealth distribution in the United States. Okay. And the thing is what I'll say as far as my predictions of 2025, and then I'm gonna get out of here, um, is that I think that whatever was going on with what because I think that's why the illegals was like a ploy for the elites to exercise economic warfare. um it's getting exposed, so therefore it's going to pressure the elites to hire more people. It's gonna shake up some things, so I think it will be some people that will probably be getting hired soon. That's all I have to say. I hope you have a good day.